the Duke of York. So have you read my story? Prince Andrew, he's got the hump about a speed bump. And I kind
of... okay, yes, okay, yeah. I was like, what story? What exactly, where are we going here? Okay,
no one likes a speed hump, okay. But so Prince Andrew, they've installed a series of speed humps across Windsor Great Park. It's a private park. Me and you, we can't drive around there unless we're invited guests. So Andrew, I've seen him driving around. He often looks a bit like Toad of Toad Hall. He's whizzing around. in his Range Rover, buzzing past photographers who are waiting for him outside. They've installed these speed humps, and he was out on his horse, literally his high horse, the other day, and he peered down at one of the workmen and said, "What the F are you doing now?" He's got the hump about speed humps. Are you with Andrew? Do you like speed humps?
I'm never with Andrew, but particularly here. Okay, first of all, don't speak to people that are just doing their job like that. It's upsetting. Immediately, no matter who you are, I hate that. Secondly, if I'm going to be a bit cynical about it, if you're Andrew and you have the reputation that you have, oh, God, man, help yourself. Yeah. Help yourself. Be nice to people at the very least at this point, really. That's all you've got. As soon as I read this, I thought it's just... He has so much form in this area. There's been so many stories like this where he's yelled at staff for really ridiculously tiny things and made people feel... I think there was one about a gardener a couple of years ago who was then moved on because he was so horrible to them. Things like this, that really upsets me when people are just doing their job and going about it. Also, amazing reference with Toad of Toad Hall. I'm still giggling. But as soon as I read this, I thought, of course, Prince Andrew has such form in this area and it's so gross. I really hate when people are treated badly for doing their job. Yeah.
Esther, what would you do if you were going about your job and Prince Andrew said to you, "What the F are you doing now?"
Come down from your horse. Let's have a chat. Prince Andrew just sucks. He just sucks because every single person that I've met, from people in the RAF to the Defence Forces more broadly, to service stuff, everyone that I've met that has come into contact with Prince Andrew says he's arrogant and he's rude and he's entitled. And the Epstein stuff aside, which still makes me so angry, why hasn't he conditioned his brain to understand that you should just be nice because that's what decent people do. But also, you're a royal and any bad press will follow you like flies on rotting fruit. If you've seen, I just don't understand his complete lack of self-control and composure. You've seen someone doing something that you don't like. Why is your immediate reaction to just assume that this is some random person from down the road trying to dig up a hole in your property? Why don't you just say, "Oh, what's going on? What's happening?" And I completely agree with you. He has such form for this, but I just don't understand why, because it's always blown back on him. I mean, I was like, let's get him a one-bedroom flat in Goa and just exile him from the country because he's such bad news. But it just it embeds in people's minds that the royals are these entitled, really snobby people, and that unless they have the massage of kind of the firm PR spin on them, they're actually really horrible people. And I don't think that's the case at all. I think they do really good work. They're basically a walking history lesson. And you have a few bad apples every single time. And this season happens to be Prince Andrew and his shenanigans. This is completely unacceptable.
It's just worth saying that while Andrew is probably will get away with, saying that he's guilty of being a bit pompous, arrogant, and coming out with, comments against, as you point out, the gardener, and he shouted at a maid for not pulling the curtains. He's never been convicted or found guilty of anything connected to Epstein, and as always,
that's a very low bar. That's an extremely low bar.
Yeah.
Like the bar is in hell at that point. Oh yes, I wasn't a convicted paedophile. Congratulations.
Yeah. Working royals. Now it's summer, so we don't see much of the working royals at the moment. I think the King's up in Scotland. I think we saw him at church, drive to church the other day on his own. I think Camilla's joining in. They'll be moving into Balmoral soon. Do we miss them? I mean, Sophie was out this week. I was on a job with the Duchess of Edinburgh, and she was meeting a VJ Day veteran. And it was a really lovely chat. They went to his care home. They had a very nice little conversation, a cup of tea, shared memories. She's taken a front seat. We know that they're trying to get her to do more important jobs. We'll see the King and the Queen out on Friday. We won't see William and Catherine, by the way. They're not joining the VJ Day commemorations on Friday. But is it good to see Sophie? Do we miss at this time of the year seeing the King?
Sophie. I think I will say that when you said, do you miss them? It does feel like such a long stretch. I totally believe that they are entitled to having holidays, but just especially in our jobs, does feel like a long time we don't see them. It does go quiet and gets a little bit boring. But obviously Harry and Meghan are over there keeping things interesting. And Prince Andrew.
Well, Harry and Meghan have timed it very well, haven't they, by doing this dump of information?
Yes.
Because none of the royals are all on holiday.
Well, maximum exposure. But in terms of Sophie, yes, we've said this over and over again, and I think royal watchers have also been calling for this for years. We love seeing Sophie out and about. She's so capable. She's so great when she's interacting with the public. She had a fun little chat with that veteran earlier in the week. But I think that I mean, you were there. You saw her firsthand. You see how she operates. I mean, what do you think of her performance?
I think she's lovely. I think she should do more. I think it's a shame that job was so short. I joined her in Bosnia a couple of weeks ago, and she was absolutely wonderful with people. She's down to earth. I think she can handle any job that comes to her. I think you should use her more. But as I say, the King and Queen on Friday, he's interrupting his holiday because he's still having his cancer treatment. Remember, he has 3 weeks on, 1 week off. So they try to factor his calendar to make sure that he does get a lot of rest time. But he's interrupting his holiday to come down to the National Arboretum in Staffordshire.
And William and Catherine as well are on their holiday, but after, especially when she had to pull out of Royal Ascot this year, and after the few comments she's made about coming back to work and how it's quite difficult behind the scenes, I think no one is begrudging her having that holiday. But we do miss them when they're away. Yeah, I do. Especially Catherine at royal events. You just want to see her step out and bring the glamour.
They'll come back in September with a huge bang, guarantee. It's going to be really busy with William and Catherine. Right, guys, we've just got time for our quickfire questions, all right? So take a deep breath. Right, this is a long one for me to read, actually. I say quickfire questions, but this might take me a while to read.
Okay.
Right, off the back of the £300 King Charles teddy bear that was launched this week, what royal merch would you be happy to part with some big bucks on?
Oh, I know. There was I think it was one of Princess Diana's dresses sold for like £500,000 a couple of years back. She's the one royal, like, if I had that sort of money, let's be very clear.
Just make that clear now.
I think that's clear. So Princess Diana's accessories or a dress or something really iconic like the revenge dress or something like that, absolutely. If I had it, I would pay.
Yeah, like if I was 5'10", leggy blonde, the revenge dress. But actually, I agree with you. Anything Princess Diana, but I'm like, I want something a bit more risque. I want like a thong or something. Just be like,
I don't know if they're selling that.
No, I know, but like, everyone knows Princess Diana as this really classy, elegant lady. So I want something like no one knows that I have, that I'm just like, sometimes when I'm like, I want to be like, I have her.
I also randomly, on the complete...
I'm learning a lot about both of you two on this.
I know, I feel like the prim one. But on the flip side of that, and it's much more G-rated and boring actually, but from Charles and Diana's wedding, I randomly have an original little metal garbage bin.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes.
Someone gave it to me years ago before I ever became a royal reporter. I suppose they just sensed that I was going to be sniffing about royal news for years. But this was back, when I was a teenager, someone gave it to me. But it's an original. It's got like dents in it and everything. But it's from the time that they got married. Very random.
A garbage bin, though.
A little garbage bin, little metal garbage bin with their faces on it. Yeah, it is. I suppose there could be a metaphor in there. There could be
marriage was trashed.
Yeah, I've held on to it. Maybe it'll be worth a lot of money one day.
We should do a special on royal merchandise and souvenirs. Yeah. As Donald Trump is set to meet Putin, which member of the royal family do you believe would be the best around a negotiating table?
Okay, so it's between two. William, because I actually think he has his wits about him, and I think he's a lot cleverer than people give him credit for. He's grown up seeing all this chaos, and I think he's learned many lessons from it. And I think also Queen Camilla, because,
I think I had the same answer with Camilla in terms of look at what she's got done. The day of her coronation, the day of their coronation, I should say, the reputational, full circle, incredible. Imagining 20 or 30 years ago, incredible to imagine.
Impressive.
Then the people do like her. Yeah. A lot of people like her. But the other one I would say is Princess Anne. Can you imagine? Just no BS, as we say in Australia. She would sit at that table and she'd be like, right, lads, let's get this done. And she would, I believe.
And Putin would be like, I want Ukraine. No, you can't have that. And then she'd just sit calmly.
All good answers. Okay. But Prince Philip is surely the right answer.
Well, but he's not alive.
No, he could possibly get the negotiation done, but he also may offend everyone in the room.
I think he'd start World War III.